It's time for AggroChat, the official podcast of the Tales of the Aggronaut blog and stalwart gaming community, where we talk about stuff and things, and the stuff about the things, and sometimes gaming. I'm Belghast, and let's start the show.
Hey folks, it's that time again. Time for another episode of AggroChat. This is episode 550. Tonight I'm joined by Ammo.
Hello.
Ashgar.
Hello.
Kodra.
That's a big number.
Big number happened, yeah. And Thalen.
That is not a small number.
Look, we've been doing this a while. So like this first topic, I am getting called out in, and it's been sitting on the list for a while. So hey, Kodra, what should I be ashamed of?
You have been playing a decent amount of Guild Wars 2, right?
Yeah, an excessive amount of Guild Wars 2.
And you've been putting together a bunch of legendaries, because putting together legendaries with the help of the Wizard's Tower is super easy, right?
Oh, it totally is. Yeah.
It's so easy because you get like the precursor and you get all of this other stuff, and it's basically just free.
Yeah, basically.
You get the precursor, you get the weapon gift, you get
and especially if you
gift of might or magic.
Right, especially if you get two kits in a row, because you can make one be your gift of might and the other one be your gift of magic. And
what you don't get is
still
any part of the
complete.
gift of mastery.
And you still have to do a world versus world track.
The world versus world track is not my problem.
World versus world track takes no time. World
Like,
complete doesn't take that much
world
time.
complete is so easy.
You fly around on your sky scale and it's just done.
World
Yeah,
complete,
like it is so easy.
I don't like. I have been putting in several hours, like going through all of the zones, because this is on my main character, I need to say, who had already zone completed a bunch of stuff. I think I was like 70% completed, but like dedicatedly just sitting down and grinding out world complete it's a lot of grind.
I beg to differ. Like it is super chill. Just follow the things.
Say, there may be an aspect of this you're missing, and it's Blitz HUD.
Well, I'm not even following Blitz HUD. I'm just following the POI. Guide. Yeah, the POI
guide.
You
to the nearest objective.
Yeah. I just go from one objective to another objective until I finally get to where like maybe I have one left, and then I figure out where that's at and move on with life. Like there's been a lot of times when we record the podcast where I'll do 5-6 zones during a show.
Yes, I am very amused because I was like, oh, this is supposed to be very easy. And then I was like, oh, wait, I'm going to have to world complete. I've never actually done that. It is like, I'm not going to say it's a terrible grind, but it is still a grind. Like you are still putting the hours in.
I think they get
shorter
easier.
Now that mounts exist.
I think they get easier each time you do it because like there's parts of this game that are just hardwired into my brain that once I see things, I remember, oh yeah, now this is over here. Okay, I can go over here and get this.
Sure.
Like my first one was much harder than what one takes now.
I was about to say, I just feel that for people who might hear, oh, it's very easy to get one of these legendaries with this. It is easier. It still has a decent grind component to it.
I don't remember if I've done 4 or 5 world completes, but like I've done a bunch.
And you need to understand that Bell has a different tolerance for grinding than most of us.
Yeah, like I put on a YouTube video or put on an ebook or throw on some, album and just zone out and follow the breadcrumbs.
Yep, I understand.
It's like I get into a flow state and then before I know it, I'm 100% in the zone. And I move on to the next area.
You're a little content locust, and I am not.
How many have you done, Thalen? I know you've done more than one.
I mean, you get 2 masteries out of the thing. I've done it twice. 2 world completes.
So I've world completed once, but yeah, nah.
Thalen's got to back me up that it's not that hard.
It's not not that hard.
It is less effort than a lot of other things I've done in that and other games.
This is fair.
For example, I think World Complete is easier than completing a Season 2 Legendary Collection. And faster.
Yes.
Sure, I spent years doing that.
I mean, it's also way the hell easier than crafting a Gen 1 precursor.
A thing I have done.
That's probably a lot easier now, considering like you could just queue for most of those fractals. But you also, I think, have to run a bunch of dungeons too, or have the currency.
The currency is not as hard to come by since the dungeon currency got unified a little while back.
I am very ready for the midway patch of the game where they add in queues for other things.
I'm curious what they plan to do for raids. But
Yeah,
raid grinding, I have been contemplating now that, well, maybe we'll talk about that in a bit. I might do the dumb thing in Guild Wars 1.
And get the Legendary Defender title.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I have a feeling I'm going to eventually do that now that there's actual support for it in the game. Because death leveling was just dumb.
The amusing part to me is that death leveling, 1, still works, and 2, there's a reason to do it, but not for that.
Okay, you should explain what death leveling is, because I had it explained to me, and this is nonsense.
I did explain it last week, but the idea is that in Guild Wars 1, enemies can level up off of you when you die.
And gain XP.
And this was important for Legendary Defender of Ascalon because the foes in Pre-Searing cap at level 7. So at a certain point, you could no longer get XP from them. You'd have to let them kill you a bunch of times until they leveled up, and then you could kill them for XP.
And there was, in fact, still a title that expected you to do this.
Yes.
That's nuts.
I think it was added in as a joke, and then people figured out, like, yes, you can do this. And then it became the way to do this until they, a few years later, when they decided, actually, maybe,
Actually, maybe this is so horrific.
Yes.
We cannot put something this attainable but this nonsense in our game.
I mean,
What's interesting about it, though, is, and this is the part that I think is cool, is like that there's this entire culture that evolved around this concept, and like entire groups and guilds that never left non-searing. Like the weird sense of camaraderie people that are doing dumb things together have is sometimes charming. But I know we have a later topic for Guild Wars 1. So, Kirby Air Riders.
Speaking of games that are weird, Kirby Air Riders is a weird game. Nintendo put out a battle royale and nobody noticed, first of all, because that's totally what City Trial is. Yes, okay, fine, sure, the arena doesn't shrink, but
you start with like how many people in a match, and then it just keeps cutting off people.
You start with 16 now. 16 people get dumped into the city. You get 5 minutes to run around collecting power-ups, possibly killing other players for their power-ups, and generally causing havoc. At the end of this, you get a selection of 4 arenas where you get to compete with your power-ups. In the previous game, there was 1 arena, and so the 4 of you would have to compete there. But because they expanded City Trial 16 players, they decided maybe we shouldn't dump all 16 people into a race or a combat arena or whatever, what have you. So that's the first thing. City Trial is back. City Trial online is weird. The meta has become as tough as possible to make it hard for other players to kill you. No surprise there, I suppose.
Survive.
Yes. And also maybe play Rick because he is the toughest character, even if he is not the most offensive character. That's DDD. Turns out having a big hammer is not just for show. But the other thing, a thing unique to Kirby Air Riders that was not in Kirby Air Ride, is the road trip mode, which is nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I don't know how they managed to... Like, Kirby is not exactly known for its coherent plots, I suppose. Usually some nonsense happens and you fight God.
Yep.
And I'm here to tell you, the Kirby Air Riders is not different.
Nonsense happens and you race against God?
You race inside God.
Even better.
Oh, wild. Okay.
And I don't know how they got away with making such a weird game.
I don't know. They let Sakurai go.
They
Yeah.
asked for it. That's the thing that came up in the direct. Like, they asked him to make another one, and it's a bit of a surreal experience.
I only got to play in the We're Not Mario Kart mode, which was very fun, but it doesn't sound exactly like what you're describing here.
I think the racing mode is fine. I actually rather like it quite a lot.
Like, yeah, I like it a lot, and it's very funny, especially with just how different the different carts feel to race. The different
Let me tell
air
you,
riders.
this is magnified when you have to find them in the level.
Yeah. Is that how City...
Yeah,
the
you start
city
on the
goes?
Compact Star, which is a worthless nonsense starter vehicle that you don't have for the race modes because it is so bad.
Ah.
And you have to find something else. It's usually not that hard to find something else. And in all honesty, for picking up power-ups, Compact Star is not actually terrible. Very maneuverable. It's not very fast, though. So, like, running around picking up power-ups, it's a good thing to have. But yeah, the wide variety of things on offer is just, it's a weird game. We also didn't even unlock some of the strangest carts,
I was about to say,
like
there
the
was
Swerve
the one...
Star.
The one that was just the wheel was kind of weird.
That one's not even that weird.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, that's pretty normal.
Fair enough. But yes. I will say they did add a button, but I don't find I have to use the button very often. It does still feel very much like a one-button game.
The button is used more in City Trial.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, where it is your switch machine button.
Got it.
So last week, I briefly mentioned Path of Exile II and the release of the Druid class. Because last Friday was the start of the Last of the Druid update / Fate of the Vol League, aka 0.4.0, and one, the Druid is really freaking good. Also, like, now that the game has enough content that you don't repeat any content, I gotta say, like, the campaign is really good. Like, I'm a big fan of the campaign. I was kind of getting annoyed with Druid, only because it suffers from some of the same problems that other characters that aren't doing blue health bar do. But I bought a Cloak of Flames for like 1 exalt, and that solved all my problems. Because shifting damage types is still real strong. So I put on a pretty dress and life's good now. Like, I mean, it's that with armor really is good enough, but I have a feeling that, like, really, if you are doing armor, you're going to want to have either that or a lightning coil. But you can also get way more than 40% shift on a Cloak of Flames. Like, I don't remember what the high roll is, but it's closer to 60% that you can get on a Cloak of Flames. And there's other bits of stuff you can pick up off the tree. And I want to say I'm now shifting 70% of all incoming physical damage to elements. So, like, that feels great. Regen still feels kind of really low, and unfortunately, like, as I've shifted more and more of my damage to elemental, I can't leech because leeching is traditionally a physical thing. So I am now using consecrated ground as a druid, so that there's more nonsense that I'm doing. But anyway, like, the base version of the bear druid that I was playing was really fun before I did some dumb shenanigans, where I would basically, like, pounce in, then maul, and then do one really big slam that would blow up an entire pack, and then I would pounce to the next pack, and that flow felt pretty good. I managed to get enough currency together to buy Fury of the King, which is a unique talisman. Talisman being the new weapon type used by shape-shifting abilities. And it turns you into a Balrog. Because like the thing is like shape-shifting is not just a druid thing. Anybody that uses a talisman can shapeshift. So like if you wanted to be a bear pathfinder, you could do that if you really wanted to. You're kind of in the wrong area of the tree, and there's a bunch of tasty new wild shape-shifted nodes in what will eventually be the Templar area.
What area of the tree does bear start?
Templar. So basically between
blue-red.
Yeah, blue-red. Yeah. So basically where Templar normally would have started, Druid is now a int strength class.
So
and it has a ton of
eventually going to start there.
Yeah. So but there's like a bunch of like really good shape-shifting nodes. Also, you can dip down into the warrior nodes.
I was about to say, theoretically, you could be a warrior, right?
You could be a warrior if you wanted to, and that probably would be stronger than druid. I wanted to play like shaman has some elemental like armor also applies to elemental damage and also reduced damage. So basically, like there's one of the early nodes you can pick up as in the shaman ascendancy reduces fire, cold, and lightning damage by 10%. So like it's just a flat, you take 10% less elemental damage. So I wanted to play with that and see whether or not that was good by itself. It was not, but it's pretty good once you factor in because there's like this weird node where if you've taken an element recently, you gain more resistance to that element. And it stacks 3 times. So like there's a little wheel up in the top, buff area, similar to like how elemental equilibrium works. Yeah, or Trinity, actually. That's the one I'm thinking of is Trinity. It looks a lot like that, but it shows you like how much resistance or how much lower damage you're taking from each of the elements. So it's a little fiddly, but like the flat 10% less damage taken to all the elements is good. It's just I don't know that it's a complete enough package without a Cloak of Flames, essentially. Because Cloak is still the one that doesn't have downsides. Though supposedly there might be the option of getting a lightning coil without that downside through the Vol Temple mechanic, but I've not seen one yet.
That sounds like it would be nonsense.
Yeah. Like it's not. Cloaks are common enough that like they're real cheap off the marketplace now. So and I did the thing that I often do at this point in the league where I upgraded to a better cloak that had
just sell the old one.
Yeah. So it's like technically I threw the old one in the guild bank in case anybody ever comes along behind me. Like literally, I think I paid 2 exalts for it, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, like so the bear stuff is really kind of cool. And like I said, I picked up this unique, and the unique turns me into a Balrog essentially, and converts 80% of all of my damage to fire. So I am now mostly only dealing fire damage. And also like Pounce is a werewolf ability. And it's kind of cool because every time you pounce, it also summons a bunch of wolves. And they're kind of nice just for like soaking up random hits. They don't do a ton of damage in themselves, but they kind of distract mobs. So like that was cool, but I get Molten Crash, that I'm using instead of Pounce. And essentially, like every time I leap around, I create all of these fissures. And my gameplay has essentially become, like, especially for a boss, where I pounce 3 or 4 times, I yell at the boss, I drop a totem, and I slam a couple times. and each time I slam, every single fissure explodes, dealing like bonus damage, and the fissures stack.
You sure you're not playing Last Epoch?
It's similar to yeah, it's pretty wild. Like, I mean, you can melt bosses pretty quickly. And it's hilarious because I'm just like leaping around the map.
Does the game feel less oppressive than it did before?
I feel it does. It like there's been a bunch of changes that have happened that combat does not feel as bad as it did. And fights don't feel anywhere near as dire as they once did. But again, I don't know if it's just that I've gotten used to it. I am playing a ranger now just out of curiosity, just to see what it feels like, because like I plan on going Pathfinder, because Pathfinder got reworked and essentially can sprint without being stunned now. That's its special power. Sprint, like they made changes to sprint to where you don't get stunned instantly, where it's kind of like I don't know, like tolerance is the wrong word, but it's like a buffer that builds up over time and then you get stunned. So pretty much I can sprint around the map, and if I see a mob, I stop sprinting, and the deceleration portion of sprint doesn't get, like, you're not stunnable during that part. So you can still zip around the map, and that helps immensely. And also they've just lowered the size of a bunch of, especially like once you get into mapping, they've reduced like the size of a bunch of the maps. There's still some portions of the mapping functionality. Like I'm now pretty knee deep into red maps, and I don't think that getting through your atlas is anywhere near as long as it takes to get 115 of 115 in Path of Exile 1, but it feels like there's way more busy work, because you essentially have to do like clear a corrupted nexus and then go find one and clear it with a tier 3 map, and then go find one and clear it with a tier 6 map, and then go find one and clear it with like a tier 9 map. And that portion of it feels bad, because at least while you were working on knocking out your atlas, it felt like almost every single map you were running was benefiting you, in that you were getting more points, or you were, unlocking higher tiers and things like that. Whereas I feel like I spend a lot of time just fumbling around the endless map looking for the next corrupted nexus. So I don't like, it feels more arbitrary to do atlas progression. But like they've said that's not their final thing. It's just something that they threw together temporarily. So here's hoping they really do roll out something new and wonderful in the next league. I don't know, Abyss is still king, and it is the best mechanic. The new atlas or the temple thing is it's okay. It's still way too fiddly. Like Incursion was fiddly enough, and I think they made a more fiddly version of Incursion. But Bear is great. Like, Bear is a hell of a lot of fun, and honestly, like, had they introduced bear combat at the beginning, I think I would have understood what they were trying to do with like combo gameplay, because the way Bear does it, it feels really good. The way combo gameplay is forced into some of the other classes, it feels less good. But like Bear is kind of like the shining example of like, oh no, yeah, like I have all these buttons, but they're all kind of situational. And really, I'm hitting like 1 or 2 buttons at any given time, except for, during specific cases where I want to hit all the buttons. I mean, I think across the board, the game has improved significantly. So it might be worth checking out if you are still interested in such things, just to dip in and see how it feels to you.
Maybe I'll try Act 1 and see how Act 1 feels. Am I going to try Act 1 and feel like, man, this Act 1 in boss is still a nightmare?
I didn't die until, God, where did I die for the first time? Somewhere in Act 2. Act 1 felt like it was just a breeze to get through.
Well, that's good.
The big thing that I've noticed is, so right now there are definitely meta builds that have emerged, but for the first week, there was probably wider representation on the ladder than I had seen yet to this point. There were a bunch of things people were doing, and it's not that any of them were just like wildly overpowered. But at this point, since the ladder has narrowed down to like 95 plus, there's a lot of people that are playing like the most efficient build, and they're overrepresented on the ladder.
I was about to say, how are druids looking on the ladder?
They're pretty high on the ladder, I think. I mean, as far as representation.
That's usually what happens with new classes, because people are interested in them and they're usually a little overtuned.
People want to try the new thing, although that has backfired in this specific game's lifespan already.
Okay, so in Trade League right now, 18% of players are playing a Pathfinder, and most of those are either playing crossbows or like basically a poison arrow build. Then Shaman and Oracle are people doing things with the new Druid class, and Shaman is 17% and Oracle is 14%. Then it drops down to Blood Mage at 7%, Stormweaver at 6%, Ammosart at 5%. The other new one, Disciple of name that I can't pronounce, Varashtu, it's 5%, Titan 4%, Invoker 4%, Deadeye 4%, Lich 4%, or 3%, Witch Hunter 3%, Ritualist 2%, Warbringer 2%, Tactician 2%, Infernalist 1%, Smith, yeah, like basically. But did I
miss Gemling Legionnaire, or is that dead?
No,
it's called the Tactician now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's called the Tactician now. Okay.
The design was bad.
Actually, no. So Gemling Legionnaire is still there. It is 0.2%. Sorry, Tactician is a different thing.
The third one they added?
2%.
Is that higher or lower than Disciple of Chayula?
That is lower than Disciple of Chayula.
Ouch.
The three lowest classes are Acolyte of Chayula. I almost said Chalupa because everybody calls it that.
Yeah, I know.
Abyssal Lich, which is this weird niche class. It's a weird class that you have to go Lich, and then whenever you beat Kulamak in the Abyss content, you get the option of becoming an Abyssal Lich. So it's a really edge case class.
Okay, sure.
And then Gemling Legionnaire is the lowest played non-base class.
Into the ground.
Well, it's that one is a casualty of changes to the game. They made the gem system much less restrictive, and at the same time, they nerfed Gemling Legionnaire.
Yeah, because basically what happened is they made it so that you can use any supports on any abilities, and it's not singleton anymore on your supports. That made everything infinitely better.
Yeah. Okay.
But it meant that the special child who could do that before, what does it do now? What in the world does it even do? That was the only thing it had going for it.
0.2% of the time. For every 500 people who are playing, there's one Gemling Legionnaire.
Yeah, there's 99k on the ladder, 579 characters on the ladder.
It might be like those people who intentionally put themselves on the ladder as unascended shadows in PoE1.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Smith of Katava is as low as it is.
I'm not,
because they made a bunch of changes to it.
I didn't know that.
that were really for the better. And also, like, I thought it would have. I thought people would have been playing Bear on it, because you can pretty easily get 90 max all on Smith of Catawba. It's got some of the nonsense that Chieftain has, yeah. But like I said, the Pathfinder build really, like the quote unquote most meta build is that build, and it's starting to like pick up percentage. But prior to that, there was pretty decent representation across most of the classes, and there's a viable build on pretty much anything. Like, I mean, you could build something with Jim Legion. I think there's even a Chalupa build.
I don't even understand their intended design for that class. Like, I just don't get it.
I don't know. Like, it might just be a meme build. I mean, like, I can say that I'm genuinely enjoying the game, not kind of hate playing it.
It's an improvement.
But again, like you've said before, you probably want to get the opinion of someone who isn't me with my, sensibilities before you decide that it's a really good game now.
It's fair. I should, because I did not even realize this was put in, I should probably check out Tactician, because this does seem like my jam.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of people playing Tactician. There's quite a few people playing Witch Hunter. Crossbows are real strong right now. Specifically, the grenade builds are real strong.
They were one of the worst options when you started the game, though.
Yeah, but they just got a big buff. They just got a big buff, and like, explosive grenade specifically is real strong right now.
I did not necessarily love that play style. Is it still like making sure you use explosive grenade with the gas grenade?
Don't think so. I think there's something that's dousing them in oil and then you hit the grenade.
Yeah, so the only way to make grenades work before was you doused in oil, you tossed down gas grenades, and then you blew everything up for like a big wombo combo.
Yeah, no,
the gas fire nerf was the very first patch they did. Nerf that interaction heavily.
Yes.
Because also Infernalists were using it.
Yes.
Yes, because I was running around with fart boots and then lighting them on fire with Ring of Fire or Flame Wreath or whatever that ability is called, Flame Wall. But yeah, that. I don't think it's like a 3 or 4 button combo to clear. I think it's just mostly you can clear with grenades.
It's funny because I don't mind when you have combos for tough targets, but I don't want to have to hit all of those buttons just to kill a random enemy that pops up. And I think they're converging on that design, but it took them a while to get there.
Yeah, most of the quote unquote clear skills are, 1 to 2 button things. Like I said, when I was playing Druid before I switched over to Firebear, technically I was hitting 3 abilities, but it didn't feel egregious because I was mostly using 1 as a movement ability to leap to the next pack, and then I could technically slam just as my next ability once I landed, but technically it's faster to swipe once and then slam, because bears have this thing of standing versus all fours. And yeah, and swipe quickly makes them stand. It is the fastest way you can make your bear stand. And in order to slam, you have to be standing. So you can technically slam, but you have to wait for the animation where you're standing up and then slam.
Whereas swipe just goes off fairly quickly with animation.
Yeah, swipe is a super, super fast, and you're almost instantly standing, and then you can immediately slam without the extra animation. So I was hitting 3 abilities, but really it wasn't too bad. It was basically just space bar and then left mouse button, right mouse button, and that would blow up an entire pack. And when the interactions are that fast, it doesn't seem bad to do multi-button combat. Clair Obscur.
I've been playing through some Clair Obscur because I wanted to play through it for I had to come up with a Game of the Year list. And man, this is an incredibly French game, but it's definitely very fun. It is doing the combat is fun, dodging things is fun. Figuring out combos is interesting. The game is unrelentingly bleak in its tone, which is definitely a thing. It's very I'm currently likening it to Persona 5, but even more bleak somehow.
But also, there's a lot of humor in the game.
Yeah.
It's not like there's nothing funny in this. There's weird little paintbrush dudes.
There are weird little paintbrush dudes.
And Esquier.
And Esquier, yes. I've now gotten to... So I just unlocked Esquier, is where I'm at.
He's pretty great.
And the characters in your party, they all grew up together. And...
Yeah.
They are forever giving each other crap.
Yeah, but... It's definitely, I definitely understand, why this game resonated and won so many awards at the awards trailer night.
But yeah, it's a bleak setting. Hey, you've got a year to live. How about you spend that year doing the thing that that people have been trying to do for the past 60 years, and none of them have ever come back? Good luck.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know everyone else has been recommending this game, but yes, I would also recommend it. It's definitely worth taking a look at. It is a bit of a slow start, but you've got a lot of cutscenes to get through, but those cutscenes are to make you have feelings and anger and motivate you to keep going forward.
Yeah, it really sets the tone right off the bat.
Yeah.
Also, the music is, of course, fantastic as well.
It is. It's going to it's very funny that I am playing them in this order because it does serve as quite a companion piece to another hotly anticipated game that came out this year. There's definitely some thematic resonance between those two games.
Which game?
Silksong.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Which, if you have played all the way through Silksong, I highly recommend checking out Jacob Geller's video on Silksong, which has spoilers for everything in Silksong and also the Old and New Testament.
So I know specifically Ash put this topic on there, but also I think it applies to Kodra as well. But Ash, what nonsense are you doing in Guild Wars 1?
So in Guild Wars Prophecies, the original release of the original campaign that came out, the map is almost entirely connected, and the only thing stopping you from running from one end to the other is enemies. Also in this campaign, and kind of only in this campaign, the skills available from skill trainers vary wildly from location to location. So I have run across a large chunk of the map of Guild Wars in search of some specific skills to flesh out a ranger build. During the podcast, I have successfully run from Temple of the Ages all the way down to the Henge of Dinrabi. This took a bit. It is possible to do it faster if you do something like a quote-unquote running a build, but I'm lazy and just did it in my normal build and fought my way there.
Hilarious. It is funny how far-flung skills are in this game. I haven't even gained access to one of my class's core skill trees.
That's not entirely true.
I have not been able to pick up any command skills.
I thought Fall Back was available from the very first trainer. I guess it's not.
All command skills are locked until you get to a certain point. Also, what I've discovered is that Paragon is almost my perfect ideal class, and the thing I want to be doing with it, being a battlefield commander and supporting my team, is in fact so good that it's got the name Imbagon for imbalanced Paragon. And I'm very much looking forward to putting this build together, even though it does require me to get skills from all sorts of different places.
Could be worse. Could be a heroic refrain build.
It could be worse. That is the lesson I have been taking from this game. There's a lot of nonsense here, and what I am doing could be worse.
There's a lot of. It's funny. You talk about how the Path of Exile II meta crystallizes over the course of a season. This game had its last major balance update like 16 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's had a lot of time for things to sort out, as it were.
Sure.
There was a bit of mix-up 5 years ago when they introduced the Anniversary Elite skills, and also with them the Anniversary weapons, which I think I mentioned last week required nonsense attributes like a sword that scales on Divine Favor.
Yes.
Or sorry, a hammer that scales on Divine Favor, whatever. But for the most part, the builds that are good have been the builds that are good for over 10 years. And people have figured out what the fastest and most efficient ways to get through the game are.
Yeah, it's become a solved problem.
There are some disagreements, admittedly. I personally think stuffing your team with Mesmers is not great if anything bad happens to you. Like, if everything's going fine, yes, the fastest, most efficient team that can get your way through the game. But Mesmers are squishy. They don't have things like Monk Protector prayers for themselves to keep themselves safe. They don't have things like Elementalist Earth Magic or various Necromancer. Well, Necromancer is also squishy, but you usually have to get through 10 million things before you can fight a Necromancer, so that matters less. I am taking my team of heroes. I am making almost everyone a ranger if they weren't already a ranger, and putting an animal companion on everyone so we can have 16 bodies in eight-person groups.
Nice.
And that's how I'm going to stay alive.
I can't fathom this because just having one ranger pet massively puts a thumb on the scale.
Of what?
Of survival.
A decent chunk of damage, and they take less damage than players do.
They also do a really good job at kind of distracting things.
A lot of enemies in this game will try to hit the quote-unquote weakest targets, so they will try to find your healer and or your elementalist and murder them in the back line. But ranger pets are considered less tough than rangers are.
Uh-huh.
And
So
if everyone
things
is at
will
least that
attack
tough
them?
in your party,
Yes.
they're just going to get distracted trying to kill 8 ranger pets unsuccessfully.
Well, and ranger pets also will go out quickly and engage. And there's a certain proximity component to some of this too.
The enemies like to fight things that are close to them also.
Is this why people do not like melee DPS?
It's part of it. It's not. So the funny thing about melee DPS is that enemies will tend to gather up around them. So some of the strongest damage builds in this game are melee AoE builds, because ranged AoEs cause targets to try to run out of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't run out of a dervish swinging a scythe and hitting everyone around them.
Got it. But they might smack that dervish into the ground.
I mean, that's what protector prayers are for. If you have a monk in your party, the ability to keep someone from taking damage in this game is very high.
I was about to say, this is...
Of course, there are counters to this, like enchantment removal, whatever. This game's PvP meta is not as stale as the PvE meta. Because all of these things have their own counters, and you only got 8 slots in your bar. But yeah, I've been doing a bunch of running around the world for reasons both good and questionable. Like, I also ran all the way down to Old Ascalon so I could get the starter cat pet.
But
I've been having a good time. I managed to get through some of the early faction missions, trying to get my party together before tackling some of the later ones.
what is the factions mission?
Factions is the second campaign. It's where this character started.
Ah. And
It
by
is the-
party, do you mean heroes? Or...
I mean heroes.
Okay. I have quite a few heroes at this point because I started in Nightfall, which loves giving you heroes.
It is why I suggest starting in Nightfall.
I already have a full 7 here. I think I have 8 heroes actually.
You're about to get 3 more.
I've got 2 of them included in that.
Okay.
So are heroes kind of like companions in SWTOR or something?
Kind of. This game expects you to be in a party at all time, and so they provide what they call henchmen for this in the first 2 campaigns. They have preset builds. You can't control what they do, and they're fine. There are more fine in factions than there are in prophecies.
Mhm.
Although, note about that in a sec. They are heroes instead are characters where you can control their builds and their gear.
Mhm.
So you have to keep up with upgrades, so on and so forth. But you can set them on passive. You can give them particular abilities if you want. Your ability to control what they do is much larger, and at least for the healer heroes, they start out way more capable than the healer in prophecies.
Okay.
This might be less true now that prophecies introduced a thing called Reforged mode, which alters henchman builds and increases XP gain. Sadly,
I'm real
only available
grumbly
to
about this.
new characters. So it really would have been nice if it had been in 2 weeks ago. I did restart my character specifically so I could do this.
Haha, being slow pays off for me again.
So what do you
Yeah.
get for being in Reforged mode?
It is prophecies characters only, so it doesn't apply to Nightfall anyway.
Oh, well, so I'll start a prophecies character and get this benefit.
Henchman builds are changed through prophecies. I don't know what they're changed to, but look, they couldn't be much worse. You get 5% more XP and gold. Some pre-searing things have been changed, and even if you're not in Reforged mode, you have 4-person parties in pre-searing, as opposed to only 2. Those last things don't matter to the majority of players, but they do exist. Should be interesting.
Yeah, at some point I'm starting an Elementalist as my defender character, and we'll see. I guess I'll go Reforged mode.
No reason not to. Well, no real reason not to.
Definitely not going hardcore mode.
Yeah, that's the other thing that got introduced. Doom's Covenant, which is basically hardcore mode. This does not do anything to you other than add a flag on your character saying that you're in hardcore. And if you die, it just removes the flag.
Oh, okay.
You do get a special death animation for this, where the Reaper comes and take your soul. But, after that, you do just revive. So, of the nonsense things I'm getting up to, it didn't include that. I did not start a hardcore character. It is funny, though.
Is that something you're planning to do eventually?
Probably not. I might. So, because this character has done literally nothing, I might take the character I'm planning to do Legendary Defender on and also make them hardcore to see if I can hit both of those at the same time.
Oh, nice.
Hit a Legendary Defender while on hardcore. But if I can't, also no big deal. Whatever.
Hopefully that doesn't make your minions hardcore.
You don't have henchmen in pre-searing anyway.
Oh, right.
No, it is the only time in the game where you are just going to be solo most of the time.
So, Ultimate Sheep Raccoon, I assume this is the sequel to Ultimate Chicken Horse.
Ultimate Chicken Horse has a sequel out. It's Ultimate Sheep Raccoon. It is what if instead of doing a platformer, you're on a bike, an Excite bike.
Because
Not quite.
Excite Bike Ultimate Chicken Horse version.
It's not quite Excite Bike, from my vague recollection of Excite Bike. It's more pure 2D platformer still. You are going forward on a bike. You are doing bike jumps. You are doing bike tricks. You are grinding on bike rails. But it is more Ultimate Chicken Horse, and the physics is different, and you are zooming faster in many ways. And we've started playing it, and yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it is very, very difficult to get a hold of the controls, and I am not yet good at popping wheelies. But that is definitely a thing that there are controls in there for you to be able to do. When I try and pop a wheelie, I go too far up and then fall backwards over my bike handlebars. But yeah, it is cute and fun. And if you liked Ultimate Chicken Horse and you want to play a game with a bunch of friends, it's a great couch game.
What have you been playing it on?
I've been playing it on Switch too. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But I know that it's on basically everything.
If anything like the first one, it's a heck of a lot of fun to play with people in person.
It is definitely a heck of a lot of fun.
So the other thing that I've been playing a little bit of, kind of alternating whatever I needed a break from Path of Exile II is new Diablo IV season launched. During the video game trailer show, they shadow dropped the Paladin class, and if you spent $40 on the expansion, you got to play it when the season opened. And as a result, no one seems to be playing anything other than Paladin, which is kind of hilarious. But there's a bunch of builds. I am mostly doing the equivalent of the Invoker build, which is Thorns, and it's about as dumb as that Thorns build that I played in Last Epoch.
Oh.
It doesn't...
That Thorns build was broken.
I was broken as shit, yeah. Like, so apparently, unlike Invoker, Paladin Thorns doesn't require you to actually be beat on by the target. You can just kind of run around and you're dealing damage to them.
What?
I don't know.
It's not even Thorns.
No, but like, well, technically the stat is called Thorns. But yeah, so it's basically like it's shorter range than the nonsense from Last Epoch, because like Last Epoch's was the entire screen basically. And that is not the case, but it's still dumb. I haven't made it like I just now got into Paragon levels and I've not unlocked Torment or anything like that. I've not been playing a super ton, but you know, like it's pretty fun. Like all the traditional Diablo Paladin tropes work. Like you can have orbiting hammers, you can, you know, do shield slam nonsense, you can charge to your target, you can, you know, like it's essentially all the stuff from Diablo 3 brought forth into Diablo 4. Like in addition to that, like they've made some of the elements of the game a little less fiddly. Like there was this whole masterworking system where like you had to hope RNG was on your side and keep re-rolling the item until you ran out of re-roll chances in the hopes that you got the stat you wanted on your item. Whereas now you can just kind of choose which stat you want to add to an item through the crafting bench, essentially.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, like that is infinitely better, because like the thing was you would just keep trying to find multiple copies of the same damn item and hope you got the correct two stats, because like on legendary items you could basically craft two bonuses on the item, and every build wanted specific bonuses, so you were just hoping you won the lottery in your 12 attempts that you got. Yeah, because like that's how many tries you got to roll, and that just felt bad. And like in theory you could keep buying more rolls, but like it was annoying. And it's not like the stats are kind of minor anyway. It's just mostly gilding the lily at that point. So it just felt bad to not be able to just choose the couple stats that you actually wanted. So like that's nice. There's a whole sanctification system that's part of this league, where you could basically just like upgrade one of your armor pieces to have a little bit bonus stats or a weapon or something like that. So like that's fine. The replacement for powers is kind of cool in that when you defeat certain bosses, you get two items and you can choose which one you want to be the cleansed item and which one you want to be the corrupted item. And each of them have specific stats on the item in both of those situations. And what's kind of cool is like, in most cases, there's one of which you probably want while leveling. So like one of them just makes it randomly drop experience orbs when you kill things. So like that's universally good, but will stop being universally good once you get far enough into the Paragon system that like you don't need that anymore. And then you can flip flop it and have a slightly different, option. It's not as always in the past, the power system basically dictated what your builds were going to be. And these don't seem really that strong enough to like really make a big difference. So I kind of like that they're just added bonuses and not things that really shape your build. Because it was kind of annoying that like every season they got thrown away and a whole new set of borrowed power got added in. So while there's still a thing, it doesn't feel as like it's dictating what the builds are going to be. So I don't like, I mean, D4 has been perfectly cromulent for a while and it's fun for a little while. There's just not a lot of depth there. And I think it will always be that way until they stop putting throwaway content into the game and like actually evolve the game over time. Other thing, Destiny Rising right now is having the Dawning event, and there are snowball fights that are hilarious. And that's a lot of fun. But also, inexplicably, the mascot is the Dawning Chinchilla.
Yay.
It doesn't look like a chinchilla. It mostly looks like a sheep. But we have one in the guild hall, and I don't understand it. I don't know where it came from, but it's hilarious, and I'm here for it. And also Sparrow Racing's in.
And Bella
Again
is full of morale.
Yes, because you level up the morale snowman while you're doing the snowball fight, and the announcer keeps telling us that our morale level is 4 or our morale level is 5.
Yep.
It's fun. It's basically takes place on a Crucible map, but it's just stupid fun. I mean, and you end up queued in there with a bunch of bots, which is hilarious in itself. But yeah, it's fun, especially if you queue with other people.
Yep. Low stakes snowballs, good times.
I have to say, on the topic of holiday events occurring, Guild Wars 1 is doing their holiday thing as well, and it's very weird that they chose Commodon to be one of the places that's now covered in snow.
It's not that weird.
It was very jarring when I zoned into, like, my desert town is now entirely covered in snow.
For anyone who is not familiar with Guild Wars 1, Commodon is the starting town of the Nightfall campaign, which is very Africa themed. It's very like arid desert, but also for reasons, Commodon is the place to go for trading. It became the Iron Forge of this game. It's just the town everybody hangs out in. Even when the game was quote unquote dead, people could still be found shouting in Commodon for a variety of reasons.
So I guess that's why it makes sense for it to be the place everyone goes for the holiday thing. But it's still weird because, yes, like, I am used to not thinking about this part of the world as cold.
They're also doing the holiday thing in Lion's Arch, although less obviously. Like, there's less transformative in Lion's Arch than it was in Commodon. And also Old Ascalon, which is as transformed as Commodon, and it looks just as awkward. Post-searing Ascalon.
Post-searing Ascalon with snow everywhere?
Yes.
It's the nuclear winter.
Anybody
have any other topics?
I've been playing a lot of chess still. Like, that's another thing that's just been consuming a ton of my time lately. And it's very interesting, sort of, at the progress of slowly leveling up my skills and being able to learn all sorts of new patterns. I feel like if somebody had properly sat down and taught me how to play chess, like any level of instruction on the skills and tactics, I would have probably been into this much bigger way when I was younger. But now I look at like what it would take to like even get a little into chess, and it turns out most like big a lot of the big tournaments or like the entry level tournaments are still classical chess, and that's an hour and a half per side. It's a 3 to 4 hour game of chess, and that's just a lot. That seems like a very exhausting way to play this game. I enjoy my blitz and rapid chess games. But yes, chess, it's very fun. It feels like it's having a bit of a resurgence right now.
I think a lot of that was probably brought on by chess boxing.
Chess boxing, interesting. I would have thought Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, likely.
Maybe it started there? I don't know, like the chess boxing stuff is real popular.
What is chess boxing?
Play around a chess, box around. Play around a chess, box around.
Okay.
So, playing around a chess after you've boxed around it's a bit more difficult. This continues.
Yeah, I guess ideally you have somehow impaired your cognitive abilities or your ability to focus. That is interesting. I don't think I'm interested in, like, is it just a big content thing?
Yeah, it's popular online, and it's a streamed event type scenario. It seems like utter nonsense.
It definitely seems like utter nonsense to me as you talk about it.
I don't know if you're familiar with the streamer Ludwig.
I am familiar with Ludwig.
I don't know if he started it, but he popularized some of it, I think. Okay. Or at least started a big tournament.
Yes, I know Ludwig does some chess content creation, but I did not realize he was doing chess boxing. That's funny. But yeah.
Well, I've been playing Warframe again. It's been a long, long time since I've played Warframe.
Wait, can you tell us the answer to this? Is Werner Herzog the end boss of Warframe?
Maybe? I mean, I don't know. I'm not... A, I'm not caught up on the quests, and B, like, I think the thing that's voice kind of like was overlaid with Herzog's voice towards the end there. Like, it's definitely an antagonist. I don't know if it's the final boss, but it's, a horror from beyond.
Horror from beyond?
I mean, most of our...
Yeah, sure.
Most of our bad guys and also most of our friends are also horrors from beyond. My grandpa's a horror from beyond. It's fine. This is all fine. There. Mom's a horror from beyond. But, she got over it. But yeah, like there's this thing called the Man in the Wall that I don't know a whole lot about it yet. I'm like in the middle of the quest that introduces it, which is also the quest that kind of introduces the 1999 concept. And it sure looks like that thing, and like maybe Werner Herzog is maybe that thing's going to get an actual voice instead of like the murmur that it currently has, and it'll be Herzog. I don't know. Looking forward to finding out. But anyway, so it's been a number of years since I played, and obviously they've continued to make improvements and add stuff over time. And there's a couple in particular that I'm simultaneously impressed by and amazed that nobody else thought of this. So they've got a battle pass system now, which is the Nightwave.
Okay.
And it works, like a battle pass normally does. There's, a track that advances and you earn points on it by completing weekly and daily quests, and that's fine. But the interesting thing that they do is once you have finished, I think, all but one of your weekly quests for the current week, if there are any weekly quests that you didn't do in previous weeks, it recovers them. It starts recovering them for you. So
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's not new. They've done that for a while.
Yeah. Like that's great. Like, yeah, maybe they've had this in since the Battle Pass started, but this is the first time that I've played since they introduced the Battle Pass at all. And like I have never seen a Battle Pass system that does that, and that's fantastic. Like I don't know how far in we are at this point, but I can just, over time as recovered things come up, do them and advance and maybe actually get all the rewards.
I've come very close to diving back in. I went through the process of reinstalling it on this machine.
You should.
And yeah, like
Come play Warframe with me.
I know that. So the problem is like I did everything out of order.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's Warframe.
Yeah, well, it used
Yeah.
to be there used to not be any order. Like,
Right.
that's-
And
yeah.
but like it seems like there is an order that last time I played, there was a quest chain that was kind of sending me through stuff to
Mhm.
kind of catch up, so and unlock
Yeah.
all the relays. So that's where I need to start. And
Yes.
I think I was running around on Mesa when I last played.
Mesa's fun.
Ah, Mesa. Hello, Mesa.
But then the other thing, and as far as I think they did this a while back, but again, I haven't since the last time I played. It used to be that vaulted primes, when they rotated them in, they would rotate the relics back in, and you had to go get the specific relic you wanted from whatever mission it was dropping from. So maybe the relic that you want drops from rotation C on an awful mission that's incredibly difficult to do, and that's giant pain. Well, they completely revamped this. Now everything that every place where the vaulted relics used to drop, those all drop a resource called Aya. And so that
Oh.
drops with the same percentage that the vaulted relic for that location used to drop. And when you get it, you take it to Maru's Bazaar, and there's a person there that you can trade it for whichever vaulted relic, whichever of the resurged relics you want. So so you
Interesting.
can do whatever thing you want to do that Aya can come from, and then turn it into the exact one of the relics that you're looking for. And I really appreciate that. And I'm particularly paying attention to this because they're doing like a huge Prime Resurgence event for the holidays. And so right now there's like 8 primes, eight prime warframes and their associated stuff all back available via this mechanic. And then in a month it'll switch to a different 8. But so maybe I'll finally get to complete Ash Prime.
Nice.
I do like Ash Prime.
Sure would love if they put Excalibur Prime back in the game.
So instead we get Excalibur Umbra.
How rough
And-
is the process of unlocking Excalibur Umbra?
Do a quest.
Do a quest. So easy.
It's yeah, like they just give it to you, and with some super awesome weapons. It's great. Just follow the main quest line and you'll get it.
Like all these years later, I think Excalibur is still my favorite Warframe.
I mean, Excalibur is a good, just like base Warframe. Like it can do whatever you need. But yeah, the quest, the sacrifice ends up giving you Excalibur Umbra, and also finally explicitly establishes what the Warframes are.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they've built out a lot of all of that because we've learned a lot about the crazy stuff that the Orokin got up to, and specific Orokin, and
Also,
it's all creepy. All of it's creepy.
I mean, yes. Sacrifice came out in 2018.
Yep.
It's been a bit. Also, I don't like doing this quest. I think this quest is a royal pain, but whatever. It's fine. The rewards are definitely worth it.
Yes.
Yes, I should do this thing. How long is the hero thing going on in Guild Wars 2?
The new hero thing, I think it's going to be over by the time this podcast comes out.
Okay.
I'm in right now and it says 2 days.
Oh, okay. Then for one day more,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to do quests in the 5 starter zones to get a free 20 slot bag, as well as a bunch of XP boosts, etc.
Yep. Doing 5 quests in the 5 starter zones is a really low bar for this.
Yes, yes, it is.
When you say quests,
5
Events.
Events.
okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I was like, wait a second.
No,
What's
5
up?
events.
Yeah, sorry, 5 events.
It's like, wait, Guild Wars 2 does have quests, but they're not called quests.
No, the personal story is basically quests, but
I feel like there are item achievements that are also quests.
also fair.
After all of these years, I've mentally adapted to thinking of hearts and events as quests.
Hearts are just quests. As much as the marketing for Guild Wars when it came out did not want to say this, hearts are just quests.
Yeah.
Hearts sadly don't count as events. But especially in the starter zones, they repeat with enough frequency that you should be able to find 5 before too long.
Yeah. Plus, if you're there for like one of the large boss events, that usually counts for a couple events if you get them at the start.
Except for the poor char area.
Yes. I think that one did take me the longest. I was doing that just now and a lot of flying around looking for stuff.
Ash and I were talking about this earlier. It's the only starter zone without like a world boss.
Yeah, because it seems like the ghost up at the ruins of Ascalon ought to be.
True.
Well, that is probably a show, unless anybody has anything else quick. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it, and we will see you next week.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Good night.
Happy holidays. Good night.
See
Good
you.
night.